Tonight on Digesting Beer, Mystic's Saison Renaud Farmhouse Ale with the brewery's old style glass. I don't know if they still sell these. Mystic is one of my favorite local breweries in Chelsea, Massachusetts. They have mainly focused on saisons and yeast-forward Belgian styles. They've gone into other realms and have a kind of gypsy British brewer who makes used to make a specific Wigglesworth series of beers that were English, and now his beers seem to just kind of be combining with their normal. They're simplifying their line a little bit. And the one that's always been around is the Saison Renaud. They named it Renaud after their house cultivated Saison yeast that they also named Renaud. So what they often do at this brewery is find their own yeasts to ferment their beer with. So the yeast fermenting this beer is not a classic Saison yeast or some Belgian yeast they got from some other brewery or that you can get commercially. It's one that the founder and brewmaster cultivated himself. I believe he has like some PhD in microbiology or something like that. And they've made some other interesting beers with like wild yeast from local places and local fruits. This one is a pretty classic Saison yeast. It's very, very expressive. And they have these special Belgian cube fermenters that I think help the yeast do what it wants to do and be healthier and not as stressed as in conical fermenters. So the yeast is even more front and center in this beer than like Saison DuPont. Even though it is very much the same style as Saison DuPont, the stronger provision style Saison as opposed to the Grisette low alcohol. This one's 6.5% alcohol. And it's actually a single malt, single hop, single yeast beer. Only Pilsner malt and Zotz hops. And they're Renaud yeast. So it's pretty simple. They used to make a more complicated, stronger Saison, but I think they just were like, we're making way too Saison, so they simplified it a little bit. They still do some variations on this one, and every once in a while a dry hop version comes out that is fantastic. And I believe they ferment this up to like 90 degrees or something, so that it's real fruity. And you heard that big pop. They do bottle condition every beer they make naturally, and that was quite a big pop, even though I had this in the fridge for most of the day. There's no date exactly on it, but I'm sure this stuff would stay good for quite a while. It does say bottle 69, so I think it's the 69th bottle that uses the new kind of cool label. It's time to digest beer. And yep, that looks like a beautiful, perfectly bottle conditioned Saison coming out of there. It's actually rather hazy, which I wasn't totally expecting. Guess I didn't inspect the bottle that much. I don't know, it's not super hazy. I can see through it when I bring it closer. This is just a very wide glass. Yeah, if I had it in the fridge sitting longer, probably would have had some of the yeast fall to the bottom. But I wanted to keep that strong carbonation. You know, there's lots of carbonation going. Because I really like that in a Saison. I've noticed that if you leave a bottle sitting in the fridge for a day or more, it'll settle down the carbonation. And that's the way it is with a lot of these Mystic beers. And some of their wild ales, you definitely have to leave them in the fridge for a couple days. That's what they've told me there. Or else it'll probably be a gusher if you just take it warm and even just put it in the fridge for an hour maybe. It might gush out at you. I think they've got a better handle on this beer, which I've been making continuously for like 3 years, more than 3 years now. But it's a beautiful rocky head, real foamy. It looks a lot like Saison DuPont, but ooh, and it smells a lot like it. It's got really intense pear. It's not all pineapple and or not pineapple. It's not all banana. Lots of pear. The clove spice isn't gigantic yet, but very aromatic. Yeah, there's some banana. There's a little banana runt, but it's not quite intense bubblegummy, like that. There's some real juicy pear in there that's really delightful. And like getting a little bit of grassy hop in there, but not too much. A little bit of sort of hay, rustic field thing going on. No wild yeast character at all in this one, which isn't what they're going for. But just a big, really fresh, also floral aroma. And now I'm noticing a little bit more clove in there. But there's something that's a little bit more, I don't know if rustic is a very good word. Rustic is just like a vague word. It's definitely different from a Hefeweizen. And in this light, yeah, it looks a little dark, which is surprising because they only use Pilsner malt. But Pilsner malt isn't always necessarily going to turn out to be the palest beer. They might, I'm not sure if they use a decoction process where they take out the Pilsner malt and boil it to get it darker. Should ask them, but the head is just beautiful and rocky and foamy in here. Ooh, it's so prickly on the tongue and light and fluffy. Very dry. Not much of a mouthfeel there. And the finish is just real fruity. Some like lots of pear, orchard fruits. It's not too appley to be kind of cidery. Sometimes I notice some saisons can be real cidery, but it's not. Yeah, the pear is a much better description. And maybe there's some like very, very unripe peach and nectarine going on in there. It's so refreshing. This actually might be interesting to age a little bit. They actually have green bottle versions of this one that you can get a taste at the brewery. And that little bit of light struck character on the hops and things brings out, I think, a little bit more of the grassiness. But it just wakes up your whole face, and that peppery clove, it kind of stings your tongue. Real spicy, lots of black pepper too. It's not just clove. Like fresh ground fruity black peppers in there. And some kind of bitter orange peel, I think, is coming from the hops and yeast. Yeah, it's interesting. Zotz just combines with this yeast so well to bring out interesting. It kind of bitters the soft fruits from the yeast a little bit. But I don't quite get any of that like blueberry flavor I get in some Pilsners with noble hops like Zotz in this one. It's lemony. Lemongrass is definitely also what comes out of the hops. If you think hard about the berry, maybe it's in there, but it's real lemongrass. It's orange and lemon, a little bit of a black and herbal tea, maybe Earl Grey thing going on, but in a different way from like American orange flavored, or not orange, but American hops that bring about orange flavors in a different way than how this is doing it. It's doing it through the fruity yeast and the interesting spicy floral hops. It's very dry and light-bodied, but the effervescence makes it very fun and really refreshing. There's like a little island of thick foam on top of this. You can't quite see it. Maybe I should try to fix that. And re-angle the camera so you can see that. You can sort of see it in there. But it's just a beautifully bottle-conditioned beer. It's just like a Saison DuPont or something from Belgium. The way they produce it and bottle condition it, they've got great control of this yeast, and it's doing exactly what it should do in this beer. I'll give it 82. I have a spiciness and dryness It was a little bit astringent in the finish. But that's just one way to brew it. It's real peppery and quite bitter in the finish, more so than a Saison DuPont. Saison DuPont's got a little bit more sweetness, I think, and it's probably a little less hoppy. This is a great, like, light-handed take on a classic Belgian style, I would say. So we'll do 83 for Saison Renaud from Mystic Brewery. Later.